Hi, movie recapped here. Today I am going to explain an American horror drama film called The Stylist, released in 2020. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the beginning of the movie, we see one woman waiting for a customer in parlor, from a while. Her name is Claire. Claire is a hairstylist. After a while, one Sarah name's customer comes. And she says to Claire she need a color touch-up and a trim. Claire asks for something to drink, water, wine? Sarah says to bring a wine. Claire brings a glass of red wine. Claire starts to coloring her hair. Sarah's phone rings while coloring the hairs. She answers and speaks on the phone with her husband. Soon later we see the all peoples goes, only Sarah and Claire live. During washes Sarah's hair, she goes in unconscious. And the glass in her hand breaks. Then Claire attaches the curtain on the door. She brings a bucket and a broom. She pulls the glass head from drawer, and some scissors. She cuts her forehead, with scissor from middle. She removes hair and puts it on the glass of head. Then we see the Claire comes back home. We see the one basement of her home. She goes in there, in the basement many hairs of woman already kept on the glass head. Claire, sit front of the mirror, she cries. Then wear the Sarah's hair and makes smile. The following day Claire wakes up and sees the massage of her friend Olivia. Olivia asks Claire for help about wetting hair. Soon later Claire leaves for parlor. She sees many women's with their hairs. It appears that Claire loves hairs. Then Claire stands in row for taking a tea. Suddenly she saw her shoes, the blood is still present. Claire tries to remove, finally blood removes from shoes. Then she leaves after taking tea from canteen. She comes in parlor and calls her friend Olivia for spruce up the hair. When Olivia comes in parlor Claire fits on the chair, and asks which type of hair you want. Olivia shows some pictures. Claire says I love it, and makes the hair. Then Olivia invites Claire for dinner. Claire happily getting ready. Claire goes for purchasing gift in wine shop. Soon later Claire goes to the Olivia house. Olivia ordered pizza for serving to Claire. Claire gives wine, then both ate and drunk. Olivia goes for showing the dress of her wedding which she buy for wedding with Charlie. Claire asks to come in, and goes in Olivia's room. Olivia says to fix the buttons of dress. Claire did. Then Olivia says to get pictures from her phone for showing her mother and sister. Soon later Claire and Olivia sits together. Olivia asks about Claire's family but Claire stays mum. When asking about dad, Claire says she never knew dad either. Olivia says sorry. Claire says her mother died when she's 17 years old. Suddenly Charlie comes. Olivia said to Charlie about Claire's family, but ignoring Charlie says it's a long day for him and he hungry. Claire leaves saying bye. After comes in car she becomes very angry and makes cry. Claire comes at canteen. The owner of canteen, her name is Dawn, is ongoing but Claire goes in and demand for her usual tea. The Dawn makes lock the door for not coming at another customer. During conversation Claire mix some powder in tea. After giving Claire tea, Dawn drink mixing tea. Saying good night, Claire leaves and stand on street for waiting unconscious of the Dawn. When she falls down Claire goes in getting her inside. Claire takes a scissor, and cuts her forehead with scissor from middle. But Claire makes a mistake and Dawn falls out of the unconscious. Frankie starts screaming by pain. But Claire kills her and cries. Claire cleans blood. And she goes to back home. In bathtub Claire listens recording, anyone says it's not she it's him. Following day we see Claire enter in a shop. She stands for a while. One employee comes and says keeping someone in or someone out. Then Claire buys sheets and goes from there. She covered all hairs by sheets. Claire comes out from basement and through the keys in basement. Then she makes lock on basement. The following day we can see Claire goes parlor as usual. One man comes in parlor and asks him wife's sister missing for 2 days. Then Claire ignores it. In evening she goes early, because Olivia invites her for party. The front of mirror Claire changes various dress, at last she chooses a dress and goes for party. On the way Claire sees the poster of Sarah missing. Claire reaches at bar, she sees to Olivia with her friends. Olivia calls her and says for join us. Then everyone dances. But Claire still sit on sofa. There Olivia comes, then small conversation did between them. Claire goes to washroom and cleans her dress. Then she listens someone comes in washroom, she hide at toilet and listen to Christy and Monique, they both saying about Claire, why is she here, and speaks ill to Claire. Listening this Claire starts to cry. After party she gets angry, then she starts follow to Monique. When Monique goes in following, Monique's boyfriend comes. Then Claire goes silently in, she saw the Monique and her boyfriend slept together. She takes knife, when she saw the Monique photo with Olivia, then she turns and hide in bathroom, there Claire sees something bottle is kept. She takes it, and goes from there. A weeks later we see Claire stands out the Olivia office. Claire says they both meet tonight with her bridesmaids, but Olivia refuses and goes. Next day Claire makes call to Olivia, but Charlie answers. Then Claire asks for a remaining wine bottle he wants. Charlie answers, "You bring it on tomorrow," and put off. In next scene we see Claire makes wine bottle empty. At night she goes in Olivia's house, when nobody not present. She goes in bedroom and change the dress. She wears nightie. Claire finds something in drawer. She gets a sex machine. She makes fun. Suddenly anyone comes. Claire quickly escapes from there and reaches her home. She goes near the basement and unlocks. Going in she starts to wears every hair wigs which he removes from many women's head. She gets angry and screaming loudly. Then she goes in car and goes random home, asking for a help for emergency call. When the woman goes inside for bringing a phone, Claire goes and makes attack on women by scissor on neck. Woman falls down and dies. She cuts her forehead with scissor from middle. She removes hair and wears on the head. She laughing loudly with eating cookies on front of the TV. Next day we see the Claire comes at Olivia's wedding place. There she meets her mother Frankie. Frankie shows Olivia to Claire. Claire did Olivia's hair. Then she asked for one little girl for hair same like Olivia's hair. Claire asked for bathroom to Frankie. She sees Charlie and Olivia's together. She comes inside the washroom. One lady calls her for doing the Olivia's hair. She goes and says, she don't run, Olivia not getting her. At the time of wedding when Charlie takes on to bride on stage, and removes her piece of cloth from head, he's scared because she was not Olivia. She was Claire. Claire also kills and removes the hair of Olivia's and wear. Everyone's scared and runs away from there. And movie ends. Subscribe to watch more video like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.